The 7 million-year history of mankind is about to end due to extinction brought to them by the creators of mankind, the gods. The gods determine that humanity is irredeemable and must be exterminated during the Council of Valhalla due to their tyranny and atrocities, 1,000 years after their last meeting. The Valkyrie leader Brunhild disagrees with the choice and suggests that the gods test humanity to show their might and benevolence. Brunhild persuades the gods to stage Ragnarok, a contest where 13 mortals and 13 gods engage in death-defying one-on-one combat. The winner is the first to score 7 victories, and if they do, mankind will be spared for an additional 1,000 years. The gods made fun of Brunhild's suggestion because humans defeating gods is utterly impossible. The gods approved Brunhild's proposal after she provoked them. The strongest Norse god and god of thunder, Thor, is the first god to represent the gods in the first battle. The strongest Chinese hero, Lu Bu, represents humanity. Their combat starts with both sides putting their defenses down because they both believe that they can defeat their enemies in one blow. The gods are amazed that Lu Bu makes Thor battle him seriously and reminisce about the Norse god's greatest feats when Asgard was under attack by the giants. Thor attacked Lu Bu with his instant kill technique, Thor's hammer, and everyone expected that the first match would obviously be finished. On the other hand, Lu Bu's past are revealed as well, and unlike the official myth, Lu Bu actually surrendered to his enemies after realizing that no one else was powerful enough to fight him. The gods see that Lu Bu also possesses a divine weapon when it deflects Thor's hammer. Brunhild collects the rest of the 12 Valkyries, her sisters, to aid humanity in Ragnarok. Randriz, the fourth sister, is called by Brunhild just before Ragnarok, and she is given the task of assisting Lu Bu by changing into a sacred sword for him upon confirming that it is the only way to deflect Thor's weapons. Randri's ability as a sword is to break the mightiest shields which Thor have in his arms to protect himself when wielding his Mjolnir, his hammer. Zeus verifies that the Valkyries are in rebellion against the gods as Lu Bu tries to harm Thor once more, but he is delighted by the challenge it presents. The complete roster of Ragnarok participants is disclosed to Brunhild. Thor wields once again the now alive and pulsating Mjolnir, displaying the full range of its abilities as he gets ready to kill Lu Bu. Thor's mighty blow causes Lu Bu's legs to break, and Red Hair, his faithful horse, looks to be in Lu Bu's corner, which motivates Lu Bu to fight more. Red Hair played as Lu Bu's legs and tries to fight once more with Thor. However, the battle is won when Lu Bu's arm and weapon breaks and Randgriz transforms back into her regular self. Lu Bu is happy to have lost after finally facing a respectable foe. The first victory for the gods is then sealed as Thor uses his hammer to behead Lu Bu. Following Lu Bu's death, Shen Gong and Red Hair's troops charge at Thor, who kills all of them out of respect for his fallen foe, whom he recognizes as his friend. Brunhild informs Gol, the youngest of the Valkyries, that Randriz and Lu Bu's souls were both annihilated, making it impossible for them to be brought back to life. Gol is upset that Brunhild doesn't express any sorrow for their sister's destiny. Brunhild yells at Gol, telling her that you can't slay a god if you act sad. Adam, the father of all humankind, is chosen by Brunhild to represent humanity in the second fight. However, Zeus steps in and replaces Shiva as Adam's opponent, much to Brunhild's amazement, even though Shiva is the strongest Hindu god. While Adam is armed with a knuckle duster imbued with the spirit of the seventh Valkyrie, Regenleaf, Zeus persuades Shiva to forfeit his turn in favor of Zeus, and Zeus chooses to engage in bare-handed combat with Adam. Zeus initially has the upper hand, but Adam uses his improved perception to dodge and mimic all of the enemy's assaults with twice the speed, shocking the crowd when he begins to fight back and actually match with Zeus' strength. Brunhild reveals that Adam, as the first human to exist, is a copy of a god, making himself be able to copy and perfectly mimic. Zeus feels perfectly thrilled having to fight someone who's like his mirror self. Zeus tries to end the fight by flashing the technique he stole from his dad, whom he killed, but Adam perfectly mimics it and knocks Zeus to the ground. Brunhild remarks that Adam's anger and hatred of the gods give him the strength to keep defeating Zeus. She also reveals that Adam and his wife Eve were exiled from paradise after Eve was wrongfully accused of eating the forbidden fruit. They'd accepted their exile by killing the serpent, who had falsely implicated Eve after she had turned down his advances. Meanwhile, Zeus stands up once again, which shocks the crowd. Zeus asks Adam what was his true reason for competing, to which Adam responded that he does not have any reason such as hatred or revenge, for he just wants to protect his children. Zeus reveals his true self just as the conflict is about to be settled, which stops Adam from attacking as he senses danger. Assuming his final form as Adamas, Zeus balances the odds against Adam. However, Adam ultimately adjusts to his opponent's might and regains the upper hand. However, Brunhild notices Adam's body is overheating from constantly using divine reflection without ceasing to mimic all of Zeus' strong punches, which will later on lead to Adam's body breaking. Adam's eyes are already blind and his eyes and nose are bleeding as Zeus continues to throw punches at him. Adam cannot use the divine reflection anymore, so he is putting everything on just defending himself. Just as Adam is about to strike Zeus with the final blow, he passes away from weariness. His soul dissipates along with Regin Leaf's. The audience members declare their desire to challenge the gods and triumph in the Ragnarok despite being defeated once more to celebrate Adam's perseverance. Poseidon, the Greek sea deity, is chosen to represent the gods in the third round, and an aged Kojiro Sasaki appears as his adversary. Poseidon starts the third duel against Kojiro Sasaki, who proudly claims that he has never stopped honing his swordsmanship, with a sword imbued with the spirit of the Valkyrie Prist, but neither wants to move first because Kojiro fails to scan Poseidon's defense for potential openings and recognizes that he will be slain if he attacks carelessly. Brunhild recounts the tale of how Poseidon, the god of the seas, killed his older brother Adamas because his actions of rebellion such as plotting schemes and gathering armies to throw off Zeus seemed coward to Poseidon. Meanwhile, Kojiro gives up on making the initial move against Poseidon and sits down on the battlefield. After telling the tale of how he developed his abilities solely through training after being ridiculed as a loser, Kojiro provokes Poseidon by asking first if he could fight with him, just like how he did it with the best swordsman he trained with. Kojiro finally strikes his first blow and manages to make Poseidon look him in the eye. Poseidon initiates his turn as he attacks Kojiro, to which he successfully predicts and avoids all of his blows. That is, until his opponent starts striking too quickly for him to totally avoid. Kojiro eventually suffers injuries as a result of Poseidon's increased strikes on him, and his sword is ultimately split in half. Kojiro decides to continue fighting after thinking back on his legendary battle with Miyamoto Musashi. The broken sword is reforged into two new swords that reflect Prist's dual identity and allowed Kojiro to reverse the situation and defeat his foe. Poseidon makes the decision to give up on trying to outsmart Kojiro and launches a series of swift and straight blows at him while moving considerably more quickly. Poseidon executes all of his techniques, but Kojiro uses all of his skills to counter them, cutting him in half to win the battle. The first victory achieved by humanity astounded both humans and gods. Zeus decides to send a different Greek deity to exact his vengeance because he acknowledges that humans are powerful and that Brunhild actually aims to vanquish the gods. As a result, he says, people should consider Ragnarok seriously. Hercules is picked as the representative for the fourth bout, and Brunhild sends Jack the Ripper to face him, shocking everyone in attendance given that he is known as mankind's most cunning murderer.